Hello humans, hello nerds. What is up? Word, 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 word. It's part 2 of the Aggro Mech show. Whoa. 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 Now, I talked a lot. Okay, let me tell you something that just makes me want to tilt. Okay, this has nothing to do with the... Okay, let me tell you about the show, and then I'm going to tell you what tilts me. We looked at the opening, we saw stuff get rustled. But Bbyong's build got rustled, but his jimmies didn't get rustled. He stayed cool, he stayed calm, and now he's stepping into mid-game. And the question we're going to answer in part 2 is, or at the mid-game, what now? Can't he go like roaches or infestors or lings or just pure mutas or like roach muta? Or even like hydras? I don't know, deal with hydras. No one even builds those. What if he rushes for viper? What about swarm hosts? Don't worry, we're going to see swarm hosts. But let me tell you something that is tilting. Here's an exercise for you. I want you to talk out loud about anything in a coherent fashion for an hour. Or, let me back it down a little bit, maybe just say 15 to 20 minutes. Just talk out loud, look at like a mirror, and talk compellingly to yourself. There's a mirror right here. Talk compellingly to yourself for like 15 to 20 minutes. What you'll find is that it's a real pain in the ass. I've had 5 years of talking alone in a room to myself every day, so, you know, that muscle has been built. But I want to tell you about this muscle. This muscle is a very sort of automated thing where I can think about what it is that I want to be saying, and my mouth is just like, I'll handle it, and it just falls out. So to control my speech patterns doesn't really feel like deciding to say something. It feels like trying to steer a ship. I have to do a lot of mental planning and a lot of talking to myself outside of the show to forcibly change those patterns because, I mean, I want badly to say things the proper way, but when I'm up here talking, I can't just do it. Like, I just can't do it. It's like, it's hard. And what tilts me is when I begin sentences with the word now. I have been fucking trying to stop that for like 4 months. I always have at least a couple speech patterns I'm trying to change, and I can't get rid of the now. I can't. And every time I say now, I'm like, swallow a gun! Like, it's just extreme, the annoyance that I get with now. Just then, because I know it doesn't make a big deal on the impact of the show. Most people are just like, all right, well, now what? And I'm like, well, now we're going to talk about that. But now, beginning with now or beginning with well. Don't begin sentences with those two things. They're what's called a pleonasm. You can remove it from the sentence, and it has no impact on the meaning of the sentence. I am always in the fight against the pleonasm. Now, fuck. You know what I'm saying? All right. Check it. We're going to go into the mid-game. We're at this spot. We have mutas here. We want to do a little bit of analysis as to what is up. What do you think is the Zerg's drone count? We're at 13 minutes. I would imagine that the Zerg player has only just gotten up to maybe 72 drones or something at most. And if he is at that, then he doesn't have any other units. Why would I say this? Well, shit! Why would I say that? You know, I can look. I can look right here, and I can see I've killed off some workers as the Terran player. I've killed off some of those. We're going to say well and now for this entire thing. We're going to say well and now, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Look. Why would I say that there's probably at most 70-some drones? Well, I've killed off a lot of lings. I mean, look at 113 units lost. I've seen a lot of lings over here. I didn't see a lot of drones down here. And he got Mutalisks really fast, so it doesn't seem like he's going to have that many other things. So I at the very least feel like I have a little bit of time coming up. Whoa, that's very loud. So we can see the Mutalisks popping in there very annoyingly. And we're getting the opportunity to see what use those Vikings have. Oh, lovely. We can easily poke back and forth every which way that we need to. Bbyong could deal potentially with roaches, but remember, not roaches in big numbers, because our opponent likely has only just gotten his drone count up. We could be going up against Lings, no big deal. We have Hellions and Hellbats. We could be going up against more Mutas, no big deal. I'm getting those Thors 2 at a time, and I'm feeling really good about that. I'm going to go ahead and get these upgrades going. Not a huge amount of Vikings are being produced because they're not really amazing in a straight-up fight. But we see some pretty interesting things happening from Bbyong's point of things. He's getting more Hellions. He's getting Blue Flame. He is getting these 2-2 popping on up. So far, so good. He has like a pair of Hellbats. I mean, there's a lot of really subtle, gentle things that Bbyong's doing. Just 2 Hellbats, cool. There was just this, you know, this single Reaper that's still alive is in the bunker, just in case enemy units come up and he can lift. But this harassment is going to provide extremely valuable information. Are there more Mutalisks? Or are there more Roaches? There was those 4 Hellions that popped out right now. We're going to get more factories. And look at how the economy is permitting this to happen for Bbyong. If he invests in Hellions, he's not spending gas. That gas is going to go into pre-igniter. That gas is going to go into 2-2 upgrades. That gas is going to go into factories. Nifty. Bbyong's massing himself up all dem SCVs. Now, fuck. Now, we see continued Thor, we see continued Hellbat production. Why is that? Because at this reveal, this is a time where Bbyong could very well consider making a big move out. He could consider making a big move out when these Thors arrive, because he's going to be able to just flood with additional, what the hell are these things called? He can flood with additional Hellbats. His Blue Flame will be done. He can even just wait another simple hundo seconds, another minute and 40 seconds, in order for this 2-2 upgrade to be done. He sees a vulnerability here. So there's a lot of potential timings, but there's been no reveal of tech. Is he going Roach? I don't know. He's going Swarm Host? I don't know. Just general safety procedures. Thors are very well rounded. The idea for Bbyong's play right now can most be easily understood by saying, think of everything but the Roach. Is he good against Lings? Yeah, he has Blue Flame and he has a pretty reasonable number of Hellbats spread out, and the Thors are good. Can he deal with Infestors? Yeah, I mean, there's probably not really going to be that many Infestors. I mean, Fungal Growth is kind of annoying, but it's not really a deal breaker. Can he deal with Mutas? Hell, F, and yes. And Roaches. Last thing we're going to do is think about the Roaches. Can this deal with Roaches? Yeah, I mean, not amazingly well, but we have 6 Thors. We're going to have 2-2 soon. This dude seems pretty obsessed with gas. So I'm pretty comfortable going up against this dude. Remember how I said that these Hellions can help us spot tech? They're going to be harassing, but scan in the main base, revealing no hive. Perfect. Easy, easy choice. Moving right on out. Let me note that if this scan revealed a hive, I feel like there's 2 options. One is to just do an attack. Line your attack up with 2-2, go. If he's going for a hive, it's probably Broodlords or Viper or Ultra. You can just hit him before it gets up and going. Or you can just begin making a lot of tanks and not really worry that much, because the hive doesn't really do that much. We just get Vikings and we start transitioning to Sky and we never attack. But the important thing for this phase of the game is to note the Hellions, the scan. This is our scouting expeditionary force. I want to spend a brief moment talking about strategy. Strategy is the long-form sequence of maneuvers to get an edge given a game that has an undetermined ending. So if we don't know when the game's going to end, we want to have a general plan for how we do things. And I want to refer back to something that I was talking about right at the start of part 1. We said that if we can defend this trapezoid, and don't you tell me it's anything else, it's very trapezoidal, this shape. If we hold this, we can defend things from this side, this side, this side, and this side. In particular, we can defend attacks on these areas while moving down this way. Despite the fact that there are 4 attack paths, there's 1 defense location that we need to hold. So if I'm Terran, what I'm likely going to want to be doing is something that involves securing this and going wherever there are the most bases. So let me give the false answer. Okay, I'm going to put my units here, and then I'm going to move out this way. So that way I can defend these 2 angles and this 3rd one, and then my attacking force will be here, and I can take these 2 bases. Don't make it hard on yourself. We're going to defend here, blocking off this right area, and then we're going to go to these 2 closer bases. By the way, this is really close. We can even see how this is very nice. Oh, look at that. It's right there. Cool. Kill these off. Oh, there's another one there. Oh, how lovely. I mean, the fact that this has like a go down and then back up again, and that we have to defend all this space. Screw that, man. We're not attacking up along this direction. With this one, we can easily attack down this way, and if our attack is here, I mean, again, if our attack is here in this zone, this base is defended and this base is defended from the bottom. Alright, so my plan is to just kind of hold here and expand down as a general stratagem, and then when I see, aha, swarm hosts, look at this. First tanks of the game! The first tanks of the game. Are Thors the right answer to swarm hosts? Don't go too crazy overthinking it. Thors are just a generally solid unit. There's the tanks going down. There's our Tanku. Structure armor I like, but we're going to talk about that way on down the line. Here's something that people just don't do enough with Thors. Go on the offensive. Mech is so often a defensively minded thing, but we have 6 Thors. We've been building Thors the entire damn time. We saw him start with Mutalisks. If Mutalisks come in here, they're going to get absolutely pooped on. There's only 9 of them. Even if there were more, if there were like, I don't know, 20 of them, 6 Thors that are 1-1, almost 2-2, are still going to win. What if he has some roaches in there? We can just pull back and shoot the roaches. We have 6 Thors. Thors are amazingly good at just darting forward. So even though, you know, if we sat back, these Thors would obviously take damage, but one of the little-known facts is, look at Thor speed, 1.88. Look at Locust speed, 1.88. You can always run away from Locusts off creep, and you'll take no damage. Attacking, being offensive with our mech units is what's letting us stay in good shape. This is a facet of this particular map where, hey, we can lock this thing down. But I mean, it's not even as critical as any of the other parts of the map. Or excuse me, parts of the strategy. And there's our tanks. We're looking good. We have an orbital command with all our excess funds. Great. We're adding on more command centers. We have some sort of tricky annoyingness stuffs going on. But let's not forget some of our obvious decisions. Blue Flame Hellions moving around to the sidey sides. Checking things out.
Upgrade complete.
More Hellions moving around to the sidey sides. Checking things out. Moving in. Oh, doing the roasting. Feels so nice. Oh, lovely. Absolutely lovely work. Feeling really good. This command center just really badly wants to be a planetary fortress. We even got that fancy building armor. Feels good. And one of the, let me just say, one of the big reasons why I'm showing you this game as an example of the aggro mech, because it obviously looks very much so like Bbyong is playing defensively. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't. Actually, it's a false statement. He's been pretty aggressive all game long. But I choose this one because for some reason, people think that the Swarm Host is the answer against mech. That it's the counter. It's what you do. I had a strap. I saw him going mech, so Swarm Hosts. I think they suck against mech. I think that they're a, not good unit. I mean, practically speaking, if your opponent is in a bad position and you get enough Swarm Hosts, yeah, he's absolutely going to eventually crumble. Locusts are free. The Swarm Hosts are under no threat. But I don't think that that is something to credit the Swarm Host for. I think that's something to credit being in a lead. I think that's the lead is what's causing the win, not the Swarm Host. So in this position, I think this is just a really great example, this game, of how to deal with them. Bbyong's just tanking it up. Very easy right now to say that True is winning. 30 Swarm Hosts, frickin' 30 of them. So many Swarm Hosts. Oh, Locusts abound. Tank count. Not even that high. In fact, of siege tanks here, you select that one. Here's all the siege tank who. But there comes a point where, due to the splash damage of the siege tank, and due to the fact that they're 3-3, I mean, they're doing 41 damage. Actually, this is really important. The Locust, with their 65 life. With well-upgraded tanks, it's dealing 41 damage, plus some splash. Oh God, I gotta time this right. Okay, so, see, here's one shot going on. Can we get some splash? I'm trying to show what it looks like. There we go. Is that right? The Locusts... okay, I'm not going to complicate it. If you can get all the way maxed out to have a big enough upgrade lead on your tanks, you save a hit. Not a direct hit, because you can still two-shot Locust, but it's like hit and splash and a weaker splash. You get to cut one of those out if you get upgraded enough. There we go. So these actually start to fall rather quickly. And we have our wonderful little stratagem. We're moving along this way. Great. One of the only reasons why Bbyong is struggling so ridiculously much is that he doesn't have a planetary fortress here. And it's very, very hard for him to have a planetary fortress here at this point in the game. On other maps, when you try this stuff out, you'll be fine. We see Bbyong trying to look for a way into the back side of things. Swarm Hosts are armored, so they don't really take that much damage. I mean, look at that. This feels like a lost game. Feels that way. Is not straight up that way, as we can see. I mean, the amount of workers killed from either side is not, like, mind-blowing. Lead for either one. Both players are taking some pretty bad hits. Functionally speaking, this is like one of those hilarious moments where Bbyong is just like, alright, cool, got 3-3. Let's see if we can... Yeah, like, I'm trying to, like, pause it right on an edge. Yeah, where, like, it's not that hard to just finish off the Locust. And these Thors that friend Bbyong got early on are just great for stepping forward into spots like this. And see, I mean, look at this. Bbyong just basically walked to here and fired a shot, and it was like, boom, wrecked. Absolutely peeled apart. And now these are actually dealing no damage. Just these kind of surges forward, getting a slightly good angle. Not even like an amazing angle, just like a sort of reasonably good angle there. Is just insane. So just lots of tanks and Thors and Hellions. Not a huge number of these siege tanks. These Locusts are just pulled a little bit far back. I mean, this is basically just a slightly askew angle. And True just, like, completely falls apart in a matter of seconds. Obviously, this is going seemingly pretty damn well for Zerg, but then the single counterattack. Oh, we won, yay! A sort of weird thing to see here is this. The Viking count is at 13. Why would the Viking count be that high? Well, we can easily... well, for one, it allows us flexibility if he ever should go for Guardians. Excuse me, Swarm Hosts. It also allows us to sweep and get really clear senses of where everything is. There's not even any sieging going on here. This is one counterattack. Constant attacking. Siege up and wait a little bit versus Swarm Host. Instantly counterattack, and it's just not really working that well. Also, these Vikings can help us deal with that Mutalisk threat rather easily. Swarm Host, the worst defensive unit in the game. I mean, we have 30 Swarm Hosts of stuff. Just getting clicked on. 34, excuse me. Vikings killing off every Overlord in the game. So far, so good. And what I love a lot about Bbyong's follow-up set of units is he's getting more Thors and Vikings. He's getting units that will allow him to be aggressive, allow him to move more aggressively, faster. And then he just walks away from the Swarm Host. This was like one out-of-position moment. It's going to be very easy to get maxed or get a high count against the Swarm Host, no matter what. Hellions are actually really nice against these because Hellions have a range of 5, but they shoot at a range of 6. Locusts have a range of 3, so Hellions plus tanks just roast this. I actually haven't been giving the Blue Flame Hellions enough credit for being able to knock these things down, because these are light. And this just looks so freaking easy. Now, here is perhaps the most unintuitive thing of everything I've said in the entire game. Why would you expand here? Why not here? Okay, let me back up 10 seconds so that wireframe isn't here. Oh, damn it, look, it'll be there. Why expand here, up in this zone, instead of down here? That is because, in general, the more mobile player should be expanding apart, and the less mobile player should be expanding together. Mech is less mobile than everything except Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts have the bottom of the barrel mobility of anything in the entire game, period. They are horrific at mobility. They're the worst ever. The absolute worst in the universe. So, I mean, this was just an absolute blow. I mean, look at the units lost. And the Swarm Hosts haven't been dented yet. There's been almost no Swarm Hosts killed off. This is just going as badly as possible. There was no sky transition. Bbyong did this. There were a lot of Swarm Hosts showing up when there were no tanks. And then just more tank Thors splitting up. Because weirdly, Mech is more mobile. And just makes this look like the easiest thing that has ever happened. It's just a line of Swarm Hosts. Hey, look, there's a Swarm Host. All we gotta do is surround the Swarm Hosts and then siege up on either side, and what are you gonna do? I mean, this is awesome. I think the key moment that I want to make sure is cemented in your mind is this moment right here. Unit count, no tanks. In fact, we're even gonna begin 2 Thors. Even going to begin 2 more Thors. Build some Thors, Joe. Build your Thors. More Thor. There it is. Thor. And the Swarm Host count, I think, is at 16 before the first count. Or before the first tank. I mean, this is not a good map to go Swarm Host versus Terran on. When they're going mech because of how just exploitable movement paths are. Okay, so... There's 13... Oh, there's actually 18 Swarm Hosts out on the map before the first tank gets produced. Pop. Alright, is it? No, it was 15. 15 are out when the first 2 tanks start. In these low numbers, we talked about how Thors are great against most things in low numbers. Lings, roaches, mutas, swarm hosts. They can run away from them. Tries to get a planetary fortress up, it doesn't go well. Building armor would have contributed to that, and then just fast forward a little bit of time. Slightly out of position. Slightly out of position. Swarm hosts lead to this happening. Oh god. Oh jeez. Now, on other maps, you'll have to go for these bases on the edges. You sweep around here, you kill off this base, you start to move here. The swarm host will pull back, so then you bring a force over down this way. You can split up with mech, but really like that. Now, this is the end of part 2. So, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to do their second game on Ultrazim Stronghold. As somewhat of a contrast between what we're seeing with mech, and we'll look at a little bit of bio. I just think this is another nice little bonus game from Bbyong where we get to really see him kick ass. We'll be back in a few minutes.